Hey Taurus, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we are just sort of doing a bit of a check-in, see what's going on in your energy. I will be looking at career, job, finances, as well as love and romance. But we're sort of just a bit of general sort of info, see what's going on this week. But make sure you do subscribe to the channel. The YouTube algorithms really have issues with Australian creators. So every little like, subscribe, comment, it really does help the channel out, especially being such a small channel. I do really appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you. Today we are going to be using the Psychic Readings Oracle. I also have the Red Rose Love Oracle and the Lenormand deck we are using. We have the Fairy Tale Lenormand. Okay, so getting into it for you. Okay, Taurus. What's going on for Taurus? What's happening in the Taurus energy this week? Taurus. Taurus. We have communication coming through first for you, Taurus. We also have the Tree of Life coming through. So that's a very interesting energy. It's very, always comes with that reminder to ground your energy this week, to connect to Mother Nature in some kind of a way, especially being an earth sign. Connecting to nature is something that really does help strengthen your energy. But with the communication there's an energy here of, maybe going and, releasing some of what's going on for you emotionally and releasing that to nature, talking to a tree, going for a walk, talking to animals is another really good one. Obviously, they don't talk back, so they can't tell you you're wrong or whatever that is. But it does have this broader aspect coming through here where it's, the tree is very associated with growth and healing. But with the Tree of Life, it's kind of like looking at your life as a whole and looking at how far you have grown and how much you have healed from already. And just sort of knowing that, this is just a tiny moment in your whole entire life and that you are just this tiny speck, in amongst the earth, in amongst the universe. So it's very much like grounding yourself to, there is a greater plan to all of this. There's a lot more going on than that little one thing that annoyed you today. There's a lot more going on than whatever you're going through right here, right now, that there's a greater sort of plan in place. And if you've managed to get through all this other stuff in the past and grow and heal and learn from that you are able to face whatever comes next as well, and that you still will have more opportunities to grow and learn and whatnot, to be happy, to be sad, to have all those emotions. We don't get to a point in our lives where all of a sudden it all stops. No, everybody's lives, do continue with those ups and downs, and it's all just about a matter of how we rebound from those, how we reinvigorate and grow as a person within that. So there's a lot of communication coming through this week for you, though. So you may be having a lot of just general communication with just people in general. There may be a very important communication taking place this week, but we will clarify that and see if we can get to the root of the communication. But it's kind of telling you here that that everything starts with communication for you this week. So if you have an issue, to communicate that issue, to not keep everything bottled up this week, to really, communicate and talk and express yourself, show the world who you are, show the people around you what you are thinking and whatnot, sharing that part of yourself through honest, open communication. Taurus, communication and Tree of Life energy for Taurus. What's going on for Taurus this week, please? Yes, so pretty much what I just said about the expression and sharing more of yourself with people. This is this is definitely what this communication is all about. We do see the bear energy here. So the first sort of thing here is that, the bear can be very protective of oneself, very protective of boundaries, but, other people don't know if they're crossing your boundaries if you don't tell them what those boundaries are. People don't understand that something that you're doing or saying is just to protect yourself, if you're not actually expressing that to them. People don't know what the boundary is if you don't tell them what that boundary is. While we're protecting ourselves, which is perfectly fine to have those boundaries and protect ourselves in that kind of a way, we do also need to be aware that, we actually need to use that as a way to nurture the relationships that we do want to hold on to, because we have the dog coming through here. So once again, animal communication very strong for you this week as well, Taurus. So talking to animals and spending time around animals is probably going to be really good way for you to be in nature and in that nature energy this week. But the dog energy does talk about friendships and platonic relationships more than anything. People that you have a lot of loyalty for, and understanding that they are more understanding and supportive, and they're wanting to be more understanding and supportive than you're maybe allowing them to, because this bear sometimes can be a little bit defensive. And if you're being super defensive with people that just want to be there to support you and show you understanding and compassion, then you're not actually nurturing those relationships by allowing those people to do that for you. Because you stop and think about it, Taurus, and you probably have friends that you kind of say to yourself, oh, I wish they would tell me what's going on so that I can be there for them. And you probably do that for a lot of people, and you want to support and the people that you care about. But understanding that, you know what, they want to do that for you too. So sometimes we do need to allow people to, be a little bit closer to us and talk through things with people for their sake, because they want to be just as supportive as you are, and you're not actually giving them the opportunity to be, and so then it forces those relationships to become a little bit one-sided, even though that's not your intention. So it is just sort of coming up this week. And we do have the sun here as well. So, revealing to your friends what your boundaries are, what's going on for you, bringing to light those things about yourself that they maybe don't realize or know about. So communication very, very strong, bringing things to light, opening up to friends a little bit more, expressing your true self with people, leads you directly to happy moments this week as well. Okay, with the sun there, that's definitely a lot of happiness for you in that arena. But looking at job, career, money, the material world, the day-to-day stuff, what's going on for Taurus in the material job, money, career, day-to-day for our Taurus? Interesting. Okay, so we do see the stars coming through first here. So this does talk about certain goals that you may have in your career. I do feel for a lot of you this is career related specifically. It could be financial or something else going on just in your life in general here. But for majority of you, this is probably to do with your career, that you do have a specific, goal in mind, something that you wish for. It's kind of like a resolution, a consequence, an outcome that you're wishing for, that you dream that would be the ideal outcome of this. But we do see the child coming through with that next. So for some of you, this is specifically a goal related to a child in your life, that you're wanting a certain thing to happen with a child or for a child in your life. But for the rest of you, once again, with career stuff, this is actually showing us that the way that we have created this goal in our mindset, there is maybe a little bit of immaturity to that. We haven't actually give that time to fully form as a full-fledged, mature ideal, that we're maybe looking at it from a just the beginning of, a goal, rather than encompassing the full extent of what this goal could grow into. It's kind of asking you to think a little bit more expansive and more maturely, with your goal sets in mind here, that you're kind of thinking too small, to be honest. You're thinking small scope here when you should be thinking bigger, and, better, grander, kind of things here. That yes, it's fine to understand, the starting point of what that wish might look like, but to really start encompassing what you wish for that to grow into, so that when that does sort of start, that little start point of that wish, that you know exactly how to push it in the direction to make it the full encompassing thing. So this is kind of like, just as an example here, Taurus, you have the goal in mind of, I want to get a promotion. Okay. And I want a promotion. Um, you're just thinking about, I want to get the promotion. You're not thinking about where that's going to lead you, and what you're going to do with that, where you're going to take that promotion. Is that going to, then push you on to another promotion and another promotion? Is that going to push you in a slightly different direction? What are you going to do with that once you've got it? So it's kind of, wanting you to expand a little bit there on your goal, and delve into it a little bit deeper as to, what you could grow that into once you get that, and how to grow that once you get that. Because it's kind of, it's coming through in a way that's sort of saying that it's coming, you're going to get that. So you now need to start planning what you're going to do with it when you've got it. There's no point wishing for $1 million if all of a sudden you get $1 million and you have no idea what to do with it, and then you just blow it and waste it. You need to really think through, okay, I need $1 million for this and this and this, and then that can grow into 2 million, 3 million, $4 million. So you need to think a little bit bigger, expand the growth potential from this wish. Okay, we do have the house here as well, so it is very, once again, for some of you, it may be involving an actual child, and the goal of, creating some sort of family here with a child in mind. So once again, though, expanding upon that and expanding on what are you going to do once you get that. It's no point just having a baby, but if you're not knowing how that's going to look in your life, and what that's going to change in your life, and what you're then going to need in your life. Back to the main bulk of you here with the career stuff, it's talking about, adding a layer of security and safety, like a safety net, a security net, to that, so that, if this starts off and then something goes wrong, then what am I going to do? What and taking the security aspects into consideration here as you expand that wish and grow that wish. How can I make sure that that is something that I can expand? What's the safety net so that I can grow that from there? What's the safety nets, if something goes wrong? What's, how is this going to help me feel more secure in my life? How, once that starts taking off, how can I make sure that that is something that is then not going to go anywhere? I'm not going to then lose that, out of nowhere. How do I make sure that that is safe and secure in its growth? So it's kind of like, once again, back to the example of the promotion. Once you've got that promotion and you start growing and building, your networking there, how do you make sure that you are safely within that? You're still needing to meet certain goals, probably extra goals to your current position. What are you going to plan for in order to make sure that you are, not going to then lose that promotion? If you get that promotion and all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I'm on the easy ride now, and then you start to, slack off in other areas. How do I make sure that this is something I definitely can rely on, and keep secure, and definitely once I've got it, I need to keep it secure to me. So, and with the example of, the $1 million, and the $1 million comes out of nowhere, how do I then protect that asset? And what do I do? How do I invest that is a safe investment for me to invest that, so that it can grow, rather than, all of a sudden I risk losing it all over again. Because if you go and invest that in stocks that you're unsure about and things like that, you run the risk of losing it all over again. Whereas if you're thinking it through very carefully, and in the way of expansion, as well as, securing that to make sure that you're not going to lose that once you've got it. That seems to be somehow important here as well. All right, so pretty specific, to be honest, but we'll have a look at love and romance for you as well. Love and romance for Taurus this week. What's going on for love and romance for our Taurus? Another one seeing signs and synchronicities this week, hey? I actually had a very similar, I can't remember which sign it was. I think it may have been one of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, had a very similar message to this with love this week. So some of you may be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Sagittarius, or you may, Aquarius, maybe Sagittarius, since I've said that as well. Or you may have a strong placement in one of those. We have the signs, the meanings. So it's like seeing deeper meaning to things. What you're seeing deeper meaning to is this mask energy, not showing our true self. So it's kind of understanding why you're not showing your true self, and being a little bit more confident to take the mask off a little bit with people that you do care about, that you're not needing to be, once again, back to that bear energy, you're not needing to be so defensive of the truth of yourself as you think that you are, because, you sometimes you're doing that for others to let them in a little bit more. So it's just coming back to that seemingly there. You may be seeing some sort of, signs of, someone may actually be sort of showing you signs that they are wanting more from you in some kind of a way. They're wanting you to show a little bit more of your truth to them. They're wanting to interact with you a little bit more. They're wanting to know what's going on so that they can support you and love you a little bit more. They're wanting to see the deeper meaning about why you are blocking out the full truth of yourself. They want to understand that a little bit more here. But we do have the spiritual awakening, the realizations coming through here as well. So I do feel as though there's a big part of you this week that is understanding why you are, hiding a part of yourself away from everyone around you, Taurus, that you really are putting this mask on. You're very, defending yourself from being hurt, which is quite often the case. But you're sort of realizing a little bit about that and seeing the truth of how you do need to open up and bring yourself out into the light a little bit more, especially when it comes to love and romance this week. And I do sort of feel as though that is extending into your platonic relationships as well, your friends, your family, those sorts of things, that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to, talk things out, with people that care about you. You don't have to hide it all inside, okay, Taurus? But clarifying the love and romance for Taurus. Love and romance for Taurus. What's going on for Taurus with love and romance? Once again, it just wants to talk about you yourself here, and opening yourself up a little bit more. We see the masculine coming through first, so that is actually reading as your energy, that you are, an overthinker about the way that you share yourself, and that's probably why this mask is on. That you're feeling as though you have to be very stoic and not show your feelings and your emotions to people too much. Quite often, like I said, it comes from past hurt and defending against that happening again. But I feel like this week is a big week of realization of you don't need to do that as much. We have the tree coming through there as well. So once again, seeing that tree energy for you, we're seeing growth, we're seeing potential to mature and become wise to the reason behind why you do certain things, why you act certain ways. So you're learning a lot more about yourself this week, and all the love that you're needing to share a little bit of love this week with people that you care about, but also needing to share that love to yourself. Be a better friend to yourself as well, and focus on how much you have already grown and healed, and know that you can continue to do so. You're wiser than you give yourself credit for, Taurus, and it's okay to let down your guard a little bit here. We do also see the crossroads coming through, so it does sort of let us know that there is an upcoming decision that you are going to be making in the near future that will be affecting your love and romantic life. It's kind of already telling me I don't need to talk about that as much. It's just telling me that it's coming up and there are some big decisions that you are going to be needing to make. So it's important for you to sort of hit this step now where you're paying yourself a little bit of love and attention, so that you are prepared to make these decisions and go the right way for yourself, when it comes down to it, because it's just kind of wanting you to just do this last little bit of taking care of yourself and working through this masking energy, so that you can make the decision that is right for yourself, and that you're confident enough to make that decision. You're not feeling as though you have to hide your truth, when it comes to making some sort of decision that's upcoming for you. That decision does feel like it's, a few more weeks away yet. So I dare say that we may see something coming up about that in future readings for you as well. So definitely make sure you subscribe so we can check that out for you when it pops up. But more than welcome to check other placements, of course. And I will see you all again soon.